Have you ever felt like your emotions are the ones controlling your actions instead of the other way around? Now imagine being able to reverse that logic, taking control and finding serenity amidst the chaos. We live in a fast-paced era where challenges seem to emerge from every direction. Yet there is an ancient wisdom that can serve as a compass in this whirlwind. Stoicism offers us timeless principles to cultivate clarity and inner strength in the face of adversity. The enigma of attachment, excessive emotional attachment, can become an invisible prison, chaining us to memories or expectations that no longer belong to the present. Picture someone gently holding an old photograph of a loved one, feeling a quiet, persistent ache. That kind of pain reveals how attachment can eat away at the soul. We cling to memories, people, and even to ideals that have lost their shape, building walls that prevent us from moving forward. The illusion lies in believing we need to hold on to these things to be happy, when in fact this dependence only enslaves us. When we're trapped in attachment, our perception of reality becomes distorted. It's like trying to catch the breeze with your fingers. The tighter you grasp, the more it slips away. This urge to control what is beyond our reach turns into suffering. We stay bound to harmful relationships, uninspiring jobs, or fantasies that no longer align with who we are. Stoicism invites us to anchor ourselves in what is within our reach, our attitudes, our choices, our worldview. Attachment also drags us into a vicious cycle of fear and anxiety. Visualize someone constantly worried about losing what they've achieved. This restlessness, besides being exhausting, sabotages relationships and personal well-being. The fear of loss keeps us from fully experiencing the present. We become paralyzed, always on guard against potential failure. Stoic thinking urges us to release these mental chains and trust in our ability to navigate life's changes. The pain caused by attachment can manifest as anger, sadness, or anxiety, emotions that consume us from within. Imagine a person isolated in a dark room, surrounded by fragments of an unreachable past. This image captures the sense of loss so many carry. Yet Stoicism shows us that it's possible to give new meaning to this pain. By understanding the root of our attachments, we take the first step toward emotional liberation. This philosophy guides us to transform suffering into wisdom. Imagine a Stoic master extending a hand to that person in the dark, leading them down, a path illuminated by self-knowledge and discernment. With each step, the pain softens, lightness settles in, and the courage to face life is renewed. Freeing ourselves from attachment is not a miraculous event, but a continuous practice that leads to inner freedom. On this journey, we discover that we are stronger than we once believed. The urgency of transformation. Life is too short to be wasted in emotional chains that paralyze us. Picture yourself standing before two paths. One leads to more frustration and anxiety. The other, though uncertain, shines with light and the promise of freedom. The choice is entirely yours, and the time to act is now. We can't wait for change to come from the outside. It must begin from within. Every day we postpone is an invitation to stagnation and regret. The urgency of transformation becomes clear in those moments when we feel overwhelmed and lost. How many times have we felt like we were drowning, swimming against the current? These signals should not be ignored. They warn us that something needs to change. Hoping that time alone will erase our pain is an illusion. Time is a precious resource, and every passing moment is a chance to rewrite our story. Change is a courageous choice, the first step toward true emotional freedom. Imagine waking up with a new mindset, ready to face challenges with balance and confidence. This transformation is not a distant utopia, it's within our reach. Stoicism offers practical tools to shift our habits and thoughts. When we adopt this philosophical perspective, we become more selective about what we nurture within ourselves. The journey of change is not free of difficulties. It demands we face our fears, let go of limiting beliefs, and be willing to evolve. Picture yourself climbing a mountain. Every step requires effort, but the view from the top makes every drop of sweat worth it. Transformation is this arduous and beautiful process. The reward, a lighter, more meaningful, and authentic life. Stoicism reminds us that everything is in motion, nothing remains the same. Just as the seasons change, we too must adapt to flourish. Transformation is inevitable and necessary. Life constantly invites us to change, learn, and grow. See yourself as a tree that, in order to survive, must shed its leaves and reinvent itself with every cycle. By following Stoic teachings, we initiate this inner reinvention, making space for a more serene, free, and conscious existence. The gift of emotional freedom. Achieving emotional freedom is like opening a window after years in a stuffy room. The air flows in, light pours through, and everything feels more alive. Picture yourself on top of a hill, arms outstretched, feeling the wind touch your face as you gaze at the endless horizon. That sensation of lightness and expansion is priceless. When we break the chains that bind us internally, we experience a new way of being, a life in which we are no longer hostages to our feelings, but conscious managers of them. Emotional freedom allows us to see reality more clearly, living the present moment fully, without the ghosts of yesterday or the fears of tomorrow. When we reach this state of freedom, we begin to interpret events more purely, without the distorted filters of fear or emotional dependency. Imagine facing a challenging problem with a calm mind and a centered heart. It's like walking through a storm under a steady umbrella. This clarity gives us autonomy to decide wisely, act rightly, and choose responses instead of automatic reactions. Emotional freedom empowers us to feel without getting lost in our emotions. It gives us mastery, not suppression. One of the most precious gifts of this freedom is inner tranquility. Think of a silent field at dawn, dew resting on the grass, and the sky reflected in a still puddle. That's a mind free from turmoil. When we are not shaken by anger, fear, or sadness, we find an internal space of rest and balance. This peace does not depend on external circumstances because it is born from within. With it, we face life with steadiness, knowing that no tide can sink a boat captained by a mindful soul. Emotional freedom also transforms the way we relate to others. Without the anchor of attachments, demands, and insecurities, we can connect in a more authentic way. Imagine loving someone not out of need, but by choice. Trusting not for control, but for understanding. Giving without counting returns. These gestures naturally emerge when we are not trapped by fear of rejection or expectations of reciprocity. Inner freedom nurtures relationships, allowing them to be more human, deeper, and longer lasting. Stoicism reminds us that freedom doesn't require suppressing emotions, but rather the ability to navigate them without being capsized by them. Picture yourself as an experienced sailor on rough seas, not denying the waves, but steering the boat with confidence. This is the art of living stoically, to feel but not drown, to endure but not harden. As we cultivate this quiet strength, we discover that true freedom is being in command of our own soul, even when the world outside is falling apart. And in this mastery, we find purpose, joy, and genuine fulfillment. The journey of self-knowledge Stoicism invites us to turn our gaze inward and explore the vast territory of who we are. Imagine yourself in a quiet room, facing a special mirror. A mirror that not only shows your image but also reveals your thoughts, impulses, and the most subtle emotions. As you look into it, the question arises, why do I act this way? What drives me? This is the starting point of self-knowledge. an honest investigation of our inner habits that opens the door to true transformation. Each discovery is like lighting a lantern in a dark cave, illuminating areas that were once invisible. The practice of self-reflection is an essential tool in this process. Picture setting aside a moment of your day just for yourself. With pen and paper in hand, you write about what you felt, what you thought, how you reacted. This simple act of listening inwardly is like wiping fog from a window. It allows you to see clearly. Through writing and introspection, we better understand what destabilizes us, what irritates us, what brings us joy. And with this understanding, we begin to respond less impulsively and more consciously. It's not about dwelling on the past, but preparing the mind to act wisely in the days to come. During this inner journey, we realize that many of our behaviors are supported by old beliefs repeated without question. Imagine a tangled web of strings, where each knot represents a limiting belief. I'm not good enough. I need to please others to be accepted. As we undo each knot, we free a part of ourselves that was trapped. Stoicism encourages us to review these mental patterns and gradually replace them with more realistic and compassionate understandings. This process is liberating. It allows us to choose who we want to be instead of living by past programming. Knowing yourself also means humbly acknowledging both your virtues and vulnerabilities. Picture a diverse garden. Some plants are strong and grow easily, others are delicate and need care. We are the same. We have natural talents that flourish, but also fragile aspects that require patient cultivation. By accepting both in balance, we develop a fairer view of ourselves. Stoicism calls us to this constant care, to this conscious refinement, where strength lies not in denying weakness, but in using it as fertile ground for growth. This journey of self-knowledge and reflection has no end. It's a path that unfolds as we move forward. Imagine walking a winding road, where each turn reveals a new inner landscape. With each step, you become more centered, more aligned with your principles. Stoicism teaches that true power lies in knowing and governing oneself. When we live in accordance with our deepest values, life becomes more coherent, richer, and more meaningful. And on this path, we find peace, not from external conditions, but from being true to our own essence. The 7 paths to inner emancipation. Walking the path of emotional emancipation is like embarking on a journey toward yourself, where each step is a deliberate practice that reconnects you with your purest essence. The first path is accepting what lies beyond our control. Imagine trying to hold back the wind with your hands. Impossible, frustrating, and exhausting. In the same way, resisting the uncontrollable imprisons us in suffering. Acceptance means letting go of the useless struggle and redirecting our strength toward what we can truly influence, bringing relief and wisdom to our choices. The second path is to focus our attention on what is within our power. Picture your mind as a workshop, where your thoughts and attitudes are the tools that shape your reality. When we stop trying to control the uncontrollable and turn inward to our own actions, we discover a new power, becoming conscious protagonists of our own story. This shift gives us autonomy, strengthening our ability to transform the world from within. The third path is the daily cultivation of gratitude. Imagine starting each morning as if watering a sacred plant within you. Each word of gratitude is like a drop of water that nourishes your soul. This simple habit shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance, revealing the invisible riches of everyday life. Gratitude softens the heart, neutralizes envy, and reinforces our connection with the present. It is a silent balm that soothes the unrest of the soul. The fourth path is to live with full presence. Picture yourself as an artist painting each moment with attention and intention. Being present is recognizing that the now is all we truly have. When we immerse ourselves in the present moment, we are no longer hostages to the shadows of the past, or the fears of the future. Life gains color, texture, and meaning. Mindful awareness allows us to respond consciously rather than impulsively. It is in this very moment, the now, that we find genuine freedom. The fifth path is to act with virtue and coherence. See yourself as the sculptor of your own character, shaping yourself through daily choices that reflect wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Virtue is not an abstract idea, but a way of being. When our actions are guided by solid principles, life aligns with a higher purpose. To live with integrity is to walk firmly, even amidst uncertainty. It is to find strength within, even when everything around you changes. The sixth path is to free yourself from attachments and expectations. Imagine releasing a kite you were trying to control obsessively, and seeing how it flies better when it's not pulled too tightly. Detachment does not mean not loving, but loving with freedom. It is recognizing the transience of things and still finding beauty in them. When we let go, we create inner space, breathe more lightly, and learn to trust the flow of life. The seventh and final path is to surrender to continuous learning. Picture yourself as a wise traveler, gathering new insights and truths at every stop. Stoicism invites us to never stop growing, questioning, and refining our minds and hearts. Learning is the expansion of consciousness, the building of bridges between who we are and who we can become. The commitment to knowledge strengthens us, making us better prepared for the highs and lows of existence. The transformative power of gratitude. Gratitude is a silent, yet deeply transformative practice capable of unlocking the doors to emotional freedom. Imagine starting your day with an open heart, feeling grateful simply for the act of breathing, seeing the sky, existing. This mindset completely shifts our perspective, directing our focus toward what is real and precious. Gratitude is a daily reminder that, despite challenges, there's always something to be celebrated. It doesn't happen by chance. It's a conscious choice. Picture keeping a small notebook by your bedside where you write down the moments you're grateful for. This habit, however simple it may seem, changes how you view the world. It sharpens your perception toward the good, making you more sensitive to the blessings disguised within challenges. The consistent practice of gratitude acts as an emotional shield, protecting us against pessimism and discouragement. Expressing gratitude also deepens our relationships. Imagine saying thank you to someone from the heart, not just with words. That gesture creates an invisible yet powerful bond between people. Gratitude is generosity in motion. It blooms when shared. In a world that often seems indifferent, giving thanks becomes a revolutionary act of empathy and connection. In difficult times, gratitude can be a guiding light. Picture yourself in the midst of an emotional storm, and yet still able to find a spark of learning or growth. Perhaps the hardship revealed your inner strength or brought you closer to someone special. Being grateful in such moments is an exercise in wisdom and emotional maturity. It means understanding that life, even in its roughness, always offers something of value. Living with gratitude is like walking through a field of flowers, where each step reveals more beauty. This state of presence and recognition invites us to savor life with more lightness and joy. When gratitude becomes a habit, we understand that true wealth does not lie in accumulation, but in the ability to recognize the value of what we already have. Gratitude transforms how we feel, how we connect, and how we live. It is the golden key to a full and meaningful life. The art of being present. Being fully in the now is one of the most powerful practices for cultivating inner balance and emotional freedom. Imagine yourself walking through a quiet forest at dawn, where the birds' songs and the fresh air touch your soul. In that moment, there is no past to regret or future to fear. There is only the present, and with it, the chance to live intensely. That is what it means to live in the moment, to dive body and soul into the current experience without letting mental distractions steal your peace. The human mind is naturally restless, constantly drifting through memories or future worries. However, life in its purest form exists in the now. Think about how many times you've lost yourself in thoughts of what once was or what might come. These mental detours distance us from reality and prevent us from savoring what's right in front of us. The practice of presence invites us to return to the here and now, cultivating awareness and genuine appreciation for each lived moment. Being present also improves our relationships and makes us more human in our interactions. Imagine an honest conversation with a loved one, where you listen with full attention, undistracted. In those moments, we create real connections, strengthen bonds, and offer the best of ourselves to the other. Presence makes us more aware of our emotions and values, helping us act with greater coherence, compassion, and clarity. Adopting the habit of living in the present is also an effective way to reduce stress and anxiety. Recall a recent situation that left you tense. Instead of clinging to what could have been or what may still happen, shift your focus to what is within your reach right now. This change in focus brings serenity and clarity, leading to wiser solutions and calmer responses to challenges. Stoic teachings remind us that the present is all we truly have. Imagine that each morning is a new beginning, a fresh opportunity to live with purpose. When we embrace this moment with attention and dedication, each day gains depth and meaning. Being present means letting go of the chains of the past and the shadows of tomorrow, and opening ourselves to the fullness of real life pulsing in this very moment. Time to act. Now is the time to move from theory to practice. You already have the understanding. Now it's time to bring it into your daily life. Start today by applying the principles of Stoicism. Seek knowledge, reflect, and adopt mindful habits. Every step, no matter how small, makes a difference. Remember, emotional freedom is built through discipline and consistency. Walk with me on this journey of growth. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share this video. Let's spread Stoic wisdom together and inspire transformation in the world.